Okay, welcome you guys to the first day of trying to flip class notes. What we're going to be doing is starting chapter 1, which is going to be dealing a lot with using variables, especially in this first section. The listed right here is, and I have to get a pen to do that, is what our learning targeted model, manipulate, and evaluate relationships with variables and expressions and equations. And you'll have a quiz on this learning target, you'll have a test on it. So here we go. What I'd love for you to do right now is to pause the video, and I want you to fill in words that are associated with each of these properties below. So think about some words that go with add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So pause this, fill it out, and then turn it back on. All right, now we should be ready to go. So here are some of the words that I have associated with it. And what we could do is, maybe some of you use the word quotient, and that would be divide. Less would be subtract. And if you don't have these words, just add them in. Plus would be to add. Of, and that's a huge one that you'll hear in a lot of maybe fraction problems. A fourth of 25, and that means to multiply. Per, miles per hour. Difference would be subtract. Times is multiply. Those are probably an easier one. Product, most people know, or multiply. More would be adding. 5 more than 10. You're adding. And then the last one is sum, which is also to add. So see if you have those. If you have more, we can talk about that tomorrow in class and fill in some of the blanks. All right. One of the reasons I like doing the flipped classroom is so that you will have the ability to pause it and write down definitions. So here are some definitions that I want you to know. One is variable. It's a symbol, usually a letter, that represents one or more numbers. X is most often used. An algebraic expression is a mathematical phrase that can include numbers, variables, and operation symbols. And then an equation is a mathematical sentence with an equal sign. And the difference between an expression and an equation is equations have equal signs and expressions do not. Okay, so you can pause it if you need to read writing down the definitions, and I'm going to keep moving on. So here's what we have. Some of what you're going to do, and this is going to be really important throughout the years. Can you take English or verbal phrases and then turn them into expressions? So I will do these, and then you'll have some to practice on your own in a second. So the first one is 7 more than n. So if here is n, if you add on 7 more than that. The difference of n and 7, and difference is one you got to be careful with. You have to go in order. Difference of n and 7 would be n minus 7. Difference means subtraction. The next one is the product of 7 and n. Different ways to write it. I prefer this, 7 times n. You may at times see this, but that's what we're trying to get away from. We really don't like that because I don't want you to think, is that multiplication? That x, is it a variable? So I don't love that way. This is definitely my most preferred way. The quotient of n and 7, just like difference where you have to go in order, you have to have n first and then 7 next, and quotient means to divide, n over 7. The next one, sum means to add, and you can do the sum of n and 18. That could also be 18 more than n, or it could be the sum of n and 18. And the next one would be 6 less than b. This is one that a lot of people make mistakes with. It's 6 less than b. So if I have b, it's 6 less than that. That one is one that a lot of students really have issues with. Circle it if you still have questions. I can give you a great example tomorrow in class on it, but that might be a good one to do. Right now, I want you to work on the ones G through N on here. So pause the video, see what you come up with, and then turn it back on, and I will start writing those answers. So try it on your own, pause it, and we'll be right back. Okay, so here we have the difference of x and 4. You should have had x minus 4. If you got it wrong, say if it's right, you can even put a check mark, or if it's wrong, you can put an X next to it just to mark it. That way you know what to ask questions on in class. Twice y means 2 times y. The product of C and D, and you can just write it as CD. 7 more than T, and 7 more than this is T plus 7. 8 less than Z, this is the one that I know some people got wrong. If you wrote 8 minus D, that's wrong. 8 less than Z would be Z, and then you want 8 less than that, subtract it away. The quotient of 4.2 and C, 4.2 divided by C, order matters. So if you wrote that backwards, C on the top, it is not correct. T minus 15 is here. And over here, 4 more than twice K. So if here is twice K, I want 4 more than that. You could have also written 4 plus 2K. If there's any others up here that maybe you wrote different, we can talk about this. Like this one, you could have also had, I'm going back to J, 7 plus T, and either of those are correct. Okay, check your work, circle, mark it up, tell me tomorrow what you need help with. Okay, in all of the previous examples, I gave you a variable to use. I said, let's use X, or let's use N. Some problems will just say a number, and that's what we're going to have here. And this is really, really important for moving forward. If it says 2 times the number plus 5, what we need to do is right here, we need to define a number. And you can use whatever letter you want. I'm going to use X here. Let X equal the number. So these all have 2 parts, and that's what I'm showing you right here. You have to define a variable, and then you have to write an algebraic expression. So if the problem just says 2 times a number plus 5, tell me what's going to represent that number. This is the definition part. And then the expression would be 2 times a number plus 5. So instead of me telling you the letter, that is what you would do. On the next one, same thing. I see it says 7 less than 3 times a number. The variable was not defined here. So because it was not defined, we need to define it. So here we're using N this time. Let N equal the number. Okay, how do we write 7 less than 3 times a number? 3 times a number, and I want 7 less than that. So in the next couple of examples, oh, I know it might be tedious, I know it might be boring. I want you to define your variables just like it was done here, and then you can write your expressions. So pause this, and then come back and you can check your answers in a second. All right, so these should be done. You should have let X equal the number in all of these. 10 more than twice the number would be 2X plus 10. 3 times a number minus 6. 3 times a number minus 6. I'm going to see if I can do this. I copy. I can't paste it. I got to go to my desk. So here you go. And here you go. So on all of these, I'm just getting these on here. I should have done that to begin with. Okay, so on all of these, now at least they have, okay, there it is. Now they have it. So next thing is 5 times the number plus 4, which would be 5x plus 4. And you're just checking your answers. 10 less than twice a number, 10 less than that. 9 less than a number, the number is x, and I want 9 less than that. The sum of twice a number and 31. So the sum of twice a number, and it's the sum, so this is twice a number right here. This means sum right there, and 31. I don't know why this marker maybe is coming up there. I have no idea. All right, so hopefully, was there one more at the bottom? That we're good. Okay, so those are there. Hopefully you check it. Please come in with questions again tomorrow. And the last thing I want you to do, because my video is almost up, is I want you guys to write an expression for each of these. So in all of the previous ones you wrote expressions, I want you now to take these and write them and write a verbal phrase, and this is where we'll pick it up tomorrow.